Ethan, a 73-year-old retired firefighter from Colorado, said goodnight to his wife, turned off the bedside lamp, and climbed into bed like he had done every night for the past 40 years. It was a quiet evening. No pain, no complaints, no sign that anything was wrong. But by sunrise, Ethan was gone. No one saw it coming. He had no chronic illness, no history of heart disease, and had even gone for a walk that same afternoon. His wife, Charlotte, found him still under the covers, as if he were just peacefully asleep, except he never woke up. What happened? The terrifying truth is this. After 70 small nighttime habits that seem innocent, like a warm room, a late snack, or even how you position yourself in bed, can silently increase your risk of heart failure, stroke, or even sudden death. And the worst part, most seniors don't even know they're making these mistakes. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Because the way you prepare for sleep isn't just about comfort anymore, it's about survival. Tonight could be just another night, or it could be the night that changes everything. For years, Mason, now 75, kept the same routine. Dinner around 8:30 p.m., a slice of pie before bed, a glass of warm milk, and lights out by 11. It was a ritual that brought him comfort, until one night it nearly cost him his life. It started with a restless sleep. He woke up with a burning sensation in his chest, mistaking it for indigestion. He sat up, swung his legs off the bed, and stood quickly to get a glass of water. That's when everything went black. He collapsed onto the floor, hitting his head on the nightstand. His wife, Grace, woke up to the thud and rushed to his side. Mason survived, but barely. The doctor later explained that it wasn't a heart attack, stroke, or any underlying disease. It was a series of simple, avoidable bedtime mistakes that nearly ended his life. You see, after 70, your body changes dramatically. The systems that once regulated your digestion, hydration, and circulation like clockwork now slow down. Eating too late means your digestive system stays active through the night, keeping your heart rate elevated. That harmless dessert before bed, it can spike your blood sugar, increase acid reflux, and prevent your body from entering deep, restorative sleep. But it wasn't just the food. Mason had also been drinking a full glass of water right before bed, something he believed was healthy. But this habit forced him to wake up multiple times during the night to use the bathroom. Each time, he stood too fast. His aging body, no longer able to quickly stabilize his blood pressure, reacted with sudden dizziness, a condition known as postural hypotension. In the dark, disoriented and half asleep, it's no wonder he fell. And here's the part that shocked him the most. The warm, cozy bedroom he loved so much was making things worse. His thermostat was set to 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Research now shows that sleeping in a room warmer than 70 degrees Fahrenheit can increase heart strain, cause restless sleep, and accelerate cognitive decline in older adults. Overheating at night prevents the body from cooling properly, forcing the heart to work harder, and Mason's was already struggling. When the doctor explained all of this, Mason was stunned. He'd never once considered that a lifetime of habits could turn deadly after 70. But it was this realization that sparked change. And here's the silver lining. Every single one of these risks can be reversed with a few simple adjustments. You have more control than you think. What nearly ended Mason's life became the turning point that gave him a second chance. And if you're watching this, it could be yours too. Ava had always taken pride in her independence. At 76, she lived alone in a small home in rural Oregon, surrounded by her garden and old jazz records. She cooked her own meals, drove herself to the grocery store, and even mowed the lawn on sunny days. Her children admired her strength. To them, Ava was unstoppable. Until one night, she simply vanished. It was a Thursday. That evening, she made herself a hearty dinner, creamy pasta with garlic bread and a slice of peach cobbler. Around 9:45 p.m., she turned on her space heater to chase away the evening chill, poured a tall glass of water, and curled up under two thick quilts to read. At 11 p.m., she turned out the light. That was the last anyone heard from her. The next morning, her daughter Hannah couldn't reach her by phone. Concerned, she drove over, and what she found would haunt her forever. Ava was lying on the bathroom floor, unconscious, her face pale, lips slightly blue. The paramedics later confirmed it. Ava had suffered a silent stroke sometime during the night, She had gotten up, probably to use the bathroom, stood too quickly in the overheated room, became disoriented and collapsed. By the time she was found, her brain had gone too long without oxygen. She survived, but she was never the same again. Doctors believe a combination of seemingly harmless choices led to the stroke. A heavy meal too late at night, which spiked her blood pressure and kept her digestive system overactive. A warm room with poor ventilation, raising her body temperature and putting strain on her heart. Drinking too much water before bed, which woke her up in the middle of the night. And the final trigger, getting up too fast, causing her blood pressure to crash and her brain to lose oxygen. Hannah was devastated. Her mother, a woman who had once built her own garden shed with her bare hands, could no longer speak clearly or walk unassisted. The hardest part? It was all preventable. One simple change, eating earlier, drinking less before bed, lowering the thermostat, or even sleeping on her side, could have made the difference between life and tragedy. Ava's story isn't rare. Every year, thousands of seniors suffer from nighttime strokes, falls, or cardiac events caused not by disease, but by routine, by habits they've done for decades without a second thought. These are the stories that never make headlines, because they happen in the silence of the night, but not yours, because now you know. And that knowledge could be the one thing that saves your life or someone you love. For years, Benjamin thought he had everything under control. He was 78, sharp-minded and active. A retired pilot from North Carolina, he still went on long walks, read military history books, and prided himself on never missing his nightly routine. A large dinner around 8 p.m., a cup of hot cocoa, his favorite news show, then off to bed in his warm, cozy room. But after his close friend Ava suffered a stroke, something in him shifted. He visited her in the rehab center, saw how her once vibrant voice now came out in soft stutters, how her eyes drifted with confusion when they spoke, and all he could think was, that could have been me. Benjamin started asking questions he'd never asked before. Why do I feel more tired in the morning than I did before bed? Why do I wake up disoriented sometimes after a midnight bathroom trip? Why is my heart racing some nights when I try to fall asleep? That visit to Ava became his wake-up call, not just emotionally, but physically. He began researching and speaking with his doctor. What he discovered left him stunned. The warm room he loved so much was silently overworking his heart each night. The heavy meals, once a comfort, were disrupting his heart rate and digestion. The water before bed, which he believed was healthy, was forcing him awake at 2 or 3 a.m., increasing his risk of falls and blood pressure drops. And most surprising of all, his sleeping position. He had always slept flat on his back, but that too was putting pressure on his heart and cutting off his airflow. He realized it wasn't aging that was making him feel worse. It was his habits. Habits that once served him were now slowly harming him. It was humbling. How many seniors, just like him, were unknowingly putting themselves at risk? Benjamin decided he wouldn't let pride or routine cost him his independence or his life. He started making small changes, eating dinner at 6 instead of 8, lowering the thermostat to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, drinking most of his water earlier in the day, switching to left side sleeping with a body pillow, and in just 2 weeks, he felt it. Better sleep, clearer mornings, more energy. His blood pressure stabilized, his heart rate improved. Even the brain fog he thought was just old age began to fade. Benjamin didn't just change his routine, he changed his perspective. Because for the first time he realized, sleep isn't just about rest, it's about survival. And the way you prepare for it could either add years to your life or quietly take them away. Within just a month of making small nighttime changes, Benjamin felt like a different man. He hadn't turned back the clock, but he'd slowed it down. Gone were the groggy mornings. The heaviness in his chest? Gone. The nightly trips to the bathroom that once left him dizzy and off balance? Gone. For the first time in years, he was sleeping deeply, waking up refreshed and walking each morning without stiffness or fatigue. But it was more than just physical. Mentally, he felt alive again. He remembered names faster. He could carry conversations without losing his train of thought. And emotionally, something shifted. He felt hopeful, empowered, because he hadn't needed medication or surgery, just awareness and a willingness to change. He started sharing his experience with others at his local senior center. "I'm not here to scare you," he'd tell them. "I'm here to tell you that you have more control than you think." At first, most of his friends shrugged him off. "I've slept like this for 40 years, one man scoffed. But Benjamin persisted. He printed out lists of bedtime do's and don'ts, helped friends adjust their thermostats, even brought body pillows to weekly meetups to show people how to stay on their side while sleeping. And slowly something amazing happened. Eleanor, a widow who'd struggled with memory lapses, started sleeping better and began reading novels again. Caleb, who had battled high blood pressure for years, saw his readings drop after cutting off fluids in the evening. Even quiet Mr. Finn, who rarely spoke, shared how he no longer woke up gasping for air at night after changing his sleep position. It became a movement, one that didn't rely on pills or complex medical advice, but on simple science-backed shifts in nighttime habits. Benjamin often said, "This isn't about fear, it's about freedom. Freedom to wake up tomorrow feeling better than you did today. Freedom to walk, laugh, and remember without struggle. Freedom to live, not just survive." And that freedom was now within reach for anyone willing to take it. That's the beautiful thing about opportunity. It doesn't care how old you are. It only cares whether you're willing to act. And for Benjamin and the people he helped, those quiet hours before bed had transformed from a time of silent risk into a powerful chance to protect their health, preserve their independence, and maybe, just maybe, extend the most precious thing of all: time. 6 months later, Benjamin stood at the edge of a small community stage in his town's senior wellness fair, microphone in hand, gray hair combed neatly, posture tall, eyes bright. He wasn't the same man who once believed that feeling tired and foggy was just a normal part of aging. He was proof that change, even late in life, was not only possible, it was transformative.
"I used to think I was just getting old," he told the crowd. "But it wasn't age that was dragging me down. It was routine, habits that didn't fit the body I have now." The audience listened intently. Many of them had experienced the same midnight struggles: sudden dizziness, restless nights, a heart that felt like it was pounding instead of resting. Benjamin had once quietly suffered through those things too. But now, he was walking 3 miles every morning. He had resumed painting, something he hadn't touched since his wife passed. His blood pressure was lower than it had been in a decade. And most of all, he felt like himself again. It all started with one decision: to stop accepting fatigue, confusion, and sleeplessness as inevitable. To take responsibility for the way he prepared his body for sleep. To stop saying, "That's just how it is at my age." That mindset shift became the root of his personal transformation. He'd taken back control of his nights, and as a result, taken back the clarity, strength, and peace that had slowly slipped away. What surprised him most was how deeply these changes rippled into every area of his life. He no longer avoided early morning calls from his grandkids. He had the energy to drive, to laugh, to cook for his neighbors. And the best part? He could see the same change beginning in others. One evening, after one of his talks, a woman named Evelyn approached him, tears in her eyes. "My husband passed away last year. I stopped caring about myself, but something you said, it hit me." She paused. "You said, we don't lose control all at once. We give it away piece by piece." That was me. But not anymore. That moment made everything worth it. Benjamin realized that his growth wasn't just about sleeping better or feeling healthier. It was about legacy. He was showing others that the choices they made tonight could bring light into their tomorrows. Because true strength isn't about pretending you're unaffected by age. It's about being brave enough to change, smart enough to adapt, and wise enough to know that life isn't over unless you stop living it. Tonight, when you lay your head down and pull the blanket over your shoulders, it may feel like just another night. But what if it isn't? What if tonight is the night your body quietly pleads for help, and you don't hear it in time? That was nearly the case for Ethan, for Ava, for Benjamin. People who looked fine on the outside, who felt just a little tired, who had no idea that their bedtime habits were slowly turning against them. Until one of them didn't wake up. Until one of them collapsed. Until one of them realized they were living in survival mode instead of truly living. But here's the truth. You don't need a wake-up call like that. You don't have to wait for something scary to force a change. You can choose tonight to do one small thing differently, and that might be all it takes to give your body a better shot at tomorrow. Because this video isn't about fear, it's about power. The power to protect your brain, to reduce your risk of heart attack or stroke, to sleep deeply, heal fully, and wake up clear, steady, and strong. All by changing how you prepare for sleep. Turn down your thermostat a few degrees. Eat your last meal a little earlier. Sip less, not more, before bedtime. Lie on your side instead of your back. None of these are dramatic. None are expensive. None require a doctor's appointment, but they could add years to your life. More importantly, they could add life to your years. And if you're thinking, it's too late for me, it's not. Benjamin made the shift at 78. Ava's family learned the truth just in time to prevent a second tragedy. And now, so do you. Every night holds a choice. Will you continue the routines that served you in your 40s, but now silently endanger you in your 70s? Or will you honor the truth of who you are now and give your body what it actually needs to rest, repair, and protect itself? Because sleep isn't just a comfort, it's a contract with your future. So tonight, let your bedtime become your turning point. Let this moment be the one where you say, I choose to wake up tomorrow with clarity, strength, and peace. I choose to keep living, not just existing. I choose life. You've earned that choice. Now all that's left is to make it. Aging doesn't kill us, routine does. It's not the late night snack, the warm room, or the glass of water that causes harm. It's the belief that these small habits are harmless, even when your body is no longer what it used to be. The truth? After 70, your body speaks a different language, and it's time to start listening. You don't need radical changes or medical miracles. You need awareness, you need intention, and you need the courage to say, I'm not too old to change. I'm wise enough to adapt. Because your health isn't just about genetics or luck. It's about the choices you make tonight, the position you sleep in, the time you eat, the air you breathe. They all matter now, more than ever. The lesson? Comfort doesn't always mean safety, and surviving isn't the same as truly living. Tonight, before bed, try this. Eat your last meal at least 3 to 4 hours before sleeping. Stop drinking large amounts of water by 6:30 to 7 p.m. Set your bedroom temperature between 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. Sleep on your left side with a pillow between your knees. Use breathable cotton sheets and light layers instead of heavy blankets. Get up slowly if you wake in the night. Sit for 30 seconds, then stand. Turn on a nightlight to prevent falls. These changes may seem small, but together they create a safer, stronger, and longer tomorrow.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and share with your friends. Your support keeps these stories alive. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new episode. And if today's story touched your heart, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Take care, stay well, and see you in the next story.